My name is Luca Mossini. I'm a real estate entrepreneur, and together with a couple of business partners, we're about to launch a new hospitality brand that caters to remote professionals and especially remote teams of a significant size, say 50 to 100 people. I think it's definitely a growing trend, and I think it's here to stay. It's not going to stop. Actually, I mean, it's clear that it's not just a phenomenon for startups, for the Silicon Valley startups. It's actually affecting more and more, the good old corporate world. They're trying to figure out how to attract not just nomadic talent, I say millennial talent, and the only way to do that is to actually tap into this remote work trend. And I think it's we're gonna see much more of that in the future. My first step was actually, I was based in Tenerife, and I was a CEO of an online education company, and we were actually sitting in an office for the first year at least. But I was a big believer in remote work, so I then eventually advocated the change, the cultural change within the company, and especially with the business owner, because I was the CEO and there was a business owner who actually was like from generation, Generation X. So it was actually difficult to sell the idea of remote work, but in the end, through a series of trials and attempts, and especially like time-limited attempts, we actually managed to show that productivity went up, satisfaction went up, and so in the end, there was nothing to put against the change. Well, like I said, I think the challenge was not very much on how do we get this thing done between ourselves as a team, but more like how do we convince a business owner who thinks the old generation that this is the way to go for the future, and this is the way that our team wants to work. Because his ideas were more into like, hey, everybody has to be in the same office. His sentence, his signature sentence was, everybody has to sleep under the tables if necessary. And I actually thought it was not really the best way to go. And with the support of the team, which obviously was involved from the very start in trying to put together this new culture, we managed to demonstrate our business case. I think it was a combination between love and friendship. I think you have to have a strong motivation, especially if you're like into a sort of lifestyle that is not remote at all. I mean, although you might want to have that kind of lifestyle, your life might be designed in a way that doesn't allow you to be the way you like nomadic or remote. It actually happened in a trip that I went to India and then Singapore, and I met people and made friends and connections that actually I wanted to spend more time with. So when I went back, and back then I was actually working in a job in the Netherlands, when I went back I said, why do I have to go back? Why can't I just stay there for as long as I want? And that frustration was was the motor, the biggest driver in my change. So from that moment on, I started to wonder, like, how do I actually make this happen? Instead of saying, hey, this is the way it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I think that mental switch, when you go like from it's impossible to how do I make this happen, then that was the moment of transformation. I think the best way to prepare is to get in touch with people who are already doing it. It's not like a secret. I think it's for every skill and arts and crafts in life. I think the more you spend time with people who are doing this, the more you spend time go to a co-working place, go to meetups where people are already doing this, where people show you a different way of living your life, a way that older generations and your boss, everybody will tell you, those guys will tell you it's impossible. So they spend time with the guys who say it's actually possible and I'm doing it, and figure out how they do it. Well, tools now. Right now, I'm working together with two partners, so it's very easy and very manageable. So we're mostly using emails and WhatsApps and Google Documents. I would say the moment we start operating facilities, we're going to have teams to manage. Then we're going to go with more sophisticated tools of communication, and I'm thinking Slack, and I'm thinking Trello, and maybe other tools. Obviously, we're still going to use some Google tools. I think that anyway that I heard this from one of these speakers today. I think the most important thing is to actually set up processes and set up a culture that works instead of thinking tools, because tools is just like the consequence of having solid processes. The guy said like a tool with a fool is still a bad idea, so it's better to have a process that works before thinking about what tool to use. Yeah, the best tips is actually first figure out what kind of companies are doing it, and second, try and get in touch with as many people as you can that are already doing it. And I would say, like going back to what I said before, make a mindset is everything in life, I think, and the moment you make a switch and you think, how can I do it? Then the answers will come, will come naturally, because then you'll be looking actively at where are the answers around me and where can I find them. Try out things, and I say this is like for me an advice in general in life. Be the first one that tries new stuff, and this could be like like going to events or trying a new way of working. Propose to your boss, if you have one, that you want to try, want to do a 2-week trial and working from home. So like I think micro commitments leads to macro commitments, or bigger ones. So as long as you take a step that shows the way and leads to another potential achievement, then you're good to go.